Welcome back to the deep dive. We've got a really interesting one today because it touches on a very specific kind of anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
I think anyone who runs a business, especially in the tech space, they know that feeling where the market shifts just a little faster than you can keep up.
Right.
You know, that feeling where the ground under your feet feels a bit like quicksand.
It's the classic adapt or die moment, but in fast forward and in the IT world, I mean, fast forward is the default speed.
Exactly. Today, we are looking squarely at the world of managed service providers, MSPs.
The folks keeping the lights on.
They really are the unsung heroes who make sure your email works and your printer, actually prints. But we're analyzing a breakdown of the Rhyno Cybersecurity Partner Program.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, looking at this source material, it reads less like a sales brochure and more like a survival guide for the current landscape.
It really does. It's diagnosing a very specific fracture in the industry. The whole premise here is that being the computer fix-it guy or even the network administrator, it's just not enough anymore.
The job has changed.
The whole definition of the job has fundamentally changed, and a lot of MSPs are stuck trying to figure out how to bridge that gap without, going broke or burning out their staff.
So that's the mission today, to unpack that gap. We're going to look at what I'm calling the MSP trap, this situation where clients are demanding like military-grade security from their local IT shop.
Right.
And we're going to explore the solution Rhyno is proposing, which they call a backend security execution layer.
Which is a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? Back-end security execution layer.
It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie. But as we get into it, the concept is actually quite grounding.
It is. It's really about specialized labor.
We'll get into the mechanics of that.
Yeah.
But I want to start with the tension the source identifies right at the top. It points out a painful reality for a lot of business owners.
Mm-hmm.
There is a massive amount of revenue just being left on the table.
It's almost counterintuitive, isn't it? I mean, usually businesses fail because there's no demand.
Yep.
You open a shop, nobody comes in. Here, the source is arguing the opposite. The demand is overwhelming, clients are waving money around, but MSPs are actively saying no to it.
They're turning down projects. It drives them crazy to think about. Who turns down money?
Well, I guess the logic is if you can't actually do the job, you can't take the check.
True.
And that's the trap. You built your business on trust. Your clients trust you to handle IT, but now IT includes cybersecurity, and those are two very different disciplines.
Very different.
So if you say yes to a complex security contract and you fail, I mean, if you get hacked or you miss a threat, you lose your reputation instantly.
But if you say no,
You lose the revenue. And crucially, you probably lose the client eventually anyway.
because they'll just go find someone else.
They're going to go find someone who says yes.
So let's dig into the why. The source material talks about this rising tide of client demands. It's not just about keeping email flowing anymore.
No.
I mean, 10 years ago, if the Wi-Fi worked, you were a hero. What does the modern client wish list actually look like, according to this text?
It evolved from, I'd say, maintenance to vigilance. The source lists specific heavy lifting services. Clients aren't asking for antivirus anymore. That's table stakes.
That's like expecting a car to have wheels.
Exactly. Now they are asking for 247 monitoring. They want penetration testing. They want full security assessments and advanced protection.
Okay, let's pause on penetration testing for a second. I feel like that term gets thrown around a lot in marketing, but for a standard MSP, that is a heavy lift.
Oh, it's huge.
We aren't just talking about running a software scam that spits out a PDF, are we?
No, and that's a crucial distinction the source makes. True penetration testing ethical hacking. It requires a human element. It requires highly specialized skills to actively probe a network, find the weak spots, and, exploit them before the bad guys do.
It's a creative process.
It's a creative adversarial process. Most MSPs are built for stability, keeping things running smooth. Pen testing is about breaking things. It's a completely different mindset and skill set.
That's a great way to put it. Your IT guy is there to build the house. The pen tester is there to try and kick the door down.
Yeah.
Asking the same person to do both is tricky.
It's a conflict of interest and often a conflict of capability.
And that leads us right to the hurdles.
Yeah.
The source material is very blunt about why MSPs struggle to spin this up in-house. It lists 3 killers: cost, complexity, and time.
The big 3.
Let's break down the cost aspect first, because I think people underestimate the price tag of talent in this specific niche.
The source explicitly says hiring security engineers is expensive, but Let's contextualize that for you listening.
Yeah.
We are in a global talent shortage for cybersecurity professionals.
It's not just a local thing.
Not at all. There are literally millions of unfilled jobs in the sector. So if you are a mid-sized MSP in, say, Ohio or Manchester, you aren't just competing with other local IT shops for
They're
talent.
competing with everyone.
Exactly. You're competing with banks, with defense contractors, with tech giants like Google and Amazon. They all need security people.
And the salaries?
The salary expectation for a tier 3 security analyst is massive. We're talking 6 figures, easily.
And you can't just hire one, right? If the client wants 24/7 monitoring, one person can't stay awake for a week straight.
Exactly. You need a rotation, you need coverage for nights, weekends, holidays. If your security guy calls in sick or goes on vacation, who is watching the wall,
Oh, buddy.
to build a true 24/7 capability, you're talking about a minimum of 5 to 7 people just to keep a seat warm 24 hours a day.
Wow. So doing the math, 5 to 7 high-salary employees. That's $1 million a year in payroll before you even sell your first security contract.
The math falls apart almost immediately for a small business. It's just not viable.
And that bleeds right into the complexity hurdle. The source mentions building a security operations center.
The SOC.
Now, whenever I hear SOC, I just picture that room in NASA with all the screens.
That's actually not far off. A SOC is the nervous system of modern security. It's not just the people, it's the tooling. You need a SIM, that's security information and event management system.
Right.
You need threat intelligence feeds coming in from around the world. You need ticketing integration, so when an alert happens, someone actually knows what to do.
It sounds like a logistical nightmare.
The source calls this orchestrating, and that's the right word. Getting all these different tools, which are often from different vendors, to talk to each other and produce actionable alerts is incredibly hard.
Otherwise, you just get noise.
You just get noise. You get thousands of alerts a day that mean nothing, and your team gets alert fatigue and misses the one real hack.
Which defeats the entire purpose. And that brings us to the third hurdle, time. The text mentions managing certifications and tooling.
This is the opportunity cost. Every hour you spend trying to figure out why your threat feed isn't updating or trying to get your team certified in the latest compliance standard is an hour you aren't spending with your clients.
Right. You're not selling.
You aren't selling, you aren't strategizing, you stop being a service provider and start being a software integrator.
It sounds like a black hole for focus. You get sucked in and you can't get out.
And this brings us right back to that trap. You see, the dollar signs clients willing to pay a premium for security, but the operational headache to get those dollars is just too high.
So the MSP retreats.
They stay in their lane, fixing printers and managing Office 365, while the high-value work goes elsewhere.
And eventually the client goes elsewhere too.
Yeah.
Because if I'm a business owner and I have to hire a separate security firm, well, I'd start wondering why I'm paying my IT guy at all.
That is the nightmare scenario. That's the extinction event for the traditional MSP.
Okay, so we have the problem. The landscape is hostile, the logistics are brutal, and the bank account is suffering. But the source material promises a reframe.
Yes.
It says, here's the truth. What is the pivot here? How do we solve this without finding a pot of gold to hire 7 people?
The pivot is, it's philosophical as much as it is operational. The source says, you don't need to become a cybersecurity company.
Which sounds like a contradiction. We just said clients want cybersecurity.
They want the outcome of cybersecurity. They don't necessarily care who is pressing the buttons in the background. The reframe is confusing the deliverable with the identity.
Ah, I see.
Many MSP owners think, to sell this, I have to build it. They take too much ownership of the mechanics. Rhyno is arguing that you just need the right partner.
This is where they introduce their specific role, the backend security execution layer.
Execution layer, that's the key phrase.
What does that actually look like in a day-to-day business relationship? Is this just, reselling some software?
It's more than software. It's a division of labor. The source is very clear. The MSP, so you, the listener, owns the client relationship.
So you're still the face of the operation.
Completely. Rhyno is invisible to the end client. They stay in the background. Their job is solely to deliver the advanced security work, the monitoring, the hunting, the analysis.
I really like the analogy we touched on earlier, the general contractor in construction. I want to unpack that a bit more because I think it makes this click.
It's the perfect parallel. Think about building a custom home. You hire a general contractor.
Right.
You shake their hand, you complain to them about the budget, they hold the keys, they are your one point of contact.
Okay.
But do you expect that general contractor to personally wire the breaker box or pour the concrete foundation themselves?
No way. In fact, if I saw my general contractor trying to wire the main panel, I'd be worried. I want a licensed electrician doing that.
Exactly. The general contractor brings in specialists, master electricians, structural engineers, plumbers, but the homeowner still writes the check to the general contractor.
Right, the GC captures the value.
They capture the value of the entire project because they manage the trust and the relationship. They don't need to know how to configure the firewall or the circuit breaker. They just need to know the person who does.
So Rhyno is offering to be that master electrician.
Precisely.
The source emphasizes simplicity here. It says, it is that simple, but I have to play devil's advocate. In tech, nothing is ever simple.
Fair point.
And white labeling or partnering often feels risky. If I'm that general contractor and the electrician burns the house down, I get sued. My reputation is the one in ruins.
Of course.
The client doesn't know who Rhyno is, they know who I am.
That is the valid fear. You are outsourcing your reputation. If the back-end layer fails, you take the fall.
So how does the source material address that trust gap? Why should a 20-year veteran MSP trust Rhyno with their client's safety? Big leap of faith.
They lean heavily on their track record to bridge that gap. The document highlights over 15 years of experience. In the cybersecurity world, that is significant.
That predates ransomware as a service. That predates the modern threat landscape entirely.
It means they've survived multiple generations of threats. They aren't a startup that just, spun up a dashboard last week. They also emphasize enterprise-grade security services.
What does enterprise-grade actually imply in this context? Is it just marketing fluff? I hear that word used for everything from toasters to servers.
In security, it usually refers to the scalability and the robustness of the tools and processes. Enterprise-grade means the systems are designed to handle thousands of endpoints, massive data throughput, and complex compliance requirements.
Okay.
It means they have the SOC we talked about earlier already built, already staffed, already running.
So they've already spent the millions of dollars on the people and the screens.
Correct. And they list those specific capabilities again. The managed SOC, penetration testing, advanced security operations.
And the beauty of the partnership model is that these things become assets of the MSP. Suddenly, a 5-person IP shop can walk into a pitch meeting with a regional bank or a healthcare provider and say, yes, we have a SOC.
Yes, we do continuous penetration testing.
Right.
It levels the playing field. You stop being the small guy and start being a peer to the big consultancies. You can look that bank manager in the eye and say, we can handle your compliance, and actually mean it.
Without the capital expenditure.
Yeah.
You didn't spend the money to build the SOC. You just plugged into one that already exists.
It turns a capital expense building a SOC into an operating expense, renting a SOC. That is massive for cash flow.
Let's talk about the business impact. The source material has a section explicitly titled Outcome. We've covered the how, but what is the so what for the business owner's bank account?
The text promises 3 main benefits, and they sort of cascade into each other. The first one is expand your service catalog.
Which is the immediate win. You go from offering 5 services to offering 10.
And importantly, you're adding the high-margin, high-demand services. You aren't adding mouse pad cleaning. You're adding threat hunting.
Right.
This leads directly to the second benefit. Win larger deals.
Because you stop getting disqualified.
Exactly. We see this all the time. An MSP tries to bid on a contract for a 200-person law firm. The law firm asks for their SOC2 compliance or their 247 monitoring logs.
And if you can't provide that,
If the MSP says, we don't do that, the meeting is over. It doesn't matter how nice they are. With this back-end layer, you stay in the room, you can move up market.
And then the third benefit, which I think is the holy grail for everyone in this industry, build a new recurring revenue stream.
This is vital. Traditional IT project work migrations installs is one and done.
Yeah.
Even break-fix work is unpredictable. You pray things break so you can bill for them, which is a terrible business model. But
Yeah.
security is a subscription. It never turns off.
You don't install safety and walk away.
Right. It's monitoring. It's ongoing analysis. So when you sell these Rhyno services, you are layering on a monthly recurring revenue, an MRR stream that is incredibly sticky.
And that's what makes a business valuable.
It increases the lifetime value of every client you have. And if you ever want to sell your MSP business, that recurring revenue is what drives your valuation.
There's a caveat in the text that I found really reassuring, though. It says you achieve all of this without changing your core business.
That is the stability factor. It's telling the MSP you don't have to pivot. You don't have to fire your help desk team and hire hackers.
You just keep doing what you're good at.
You keep doing what you are good at. The relationship management, the on-site support, the strategy. This is an additive layer, not a replacement.
It's scaling without the growing pains. Usually growth breaks things. You grow, so you have to hire, so your culture changes, so your cash flow gets tight.
Right.
This model suggests you can grow the revenue line without inflating the operational balloon.
It allows you to become a super MSP overnight. You look like a giant to the outside world, but your internal org chart stays lean. You stay profitable.
So if we zoom out, the argument Rhyno is making is pretty compelling. The market is demanding something that is too expensive to build yourself. So instead of trying to be the hero who does it all, you bring in a mercenary army, the back-end execution layer to handle the war while you handle the diplomacy.
Diplomacy is a great word for it. You handle the client, the expectations, and the strategy. Rhyno handles the trenches.
And for the MSP owner listening, who is maybe feeling that imposter syndrome when clients ask about advanced threats, the source material offers a pretty low-risk next step.
It does. The call to action is simple. Click below and book a free consultation.
It's just a conversation. You aren't signing a blood oath. You're just meeting the team to see if the chemistry is there.
And to see if their execution layer fits your business model, it's due diligence. You should ask them the hard questions.
Oh, for sure.
Ask them about their response times. Ask them about their false positive rates. Make them prove they are the master electrician they claim to be.
Before we sign off, I want to explore one final idea with you. We've analyzed the text, but I want to look at the implication.
Okay.
If the industry moves this way, where the hard skills of security are commoditized and outsourced to back-end partners like Rhyno, what is left for the MSP?
It's a provocative question. I think it signals a shift in the definition of value. For decades, an MSP's value was technical. I know how to fix the server better than you do.
Right.
But if the fixing and the protecting are handled by these back-end layers, the MSP's value shifts to relationship management and risk strategy.
You become a consultant, not just a mechanic.
Exactly. You become the client's interpreter. You translate their business needs into technical requirements that your partners fulfill. It asks you, the listener, is your competitive advantage your tool belt, or is it your handshake? Because this model suggests the future belongs to the people who own the trust, not the people who own the hardware.
That is a fascinating shift. Are you selling technology, or are you selling peace of mind? The answer might determine whether you survive the next 5 years.
It just might. It's moving from do-it-yourself to manage-it-yourself.
Well, that's plenty to chew on for this session. A big thank you to the source material from Rhyno Cybersecurity for sparking this discussion on the future of the MSP model. It's clearly a pivotal moment for the industry.
Always a pleasure to dig in.
And thank you to you, the listener, for spending this time with us. If you're tired of saying no to revenue, maybe check out that consultation link. Otherwise, keep building, keep securing, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive. Stay curious.